Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Order of the Obsidian Octahedron. Today I have guests with me. I have Faceless Mike, Wyvern Tamer, Bishop, and Sailor Midgard. If you guys want to go ahead and tell everybody just a little bit about yourselves before we get started, go right ahead. Shield your channels and anything else you might do. And we'll start
I
with
will,
Mike.
no problem. And you never told us we were joining a cult.
Well, it's Dead House.
Oh, of course it is. Well, I'm Faceless Mike, formerly not Faceless here right now. I'm a community streamer for Dead House Sonata, and you can follow me on any form of social media by looking for Faceless Mike. Although you should still go to deadhousesonata.com and check out the store there. Support us back and join the rest of us.
Wyvern?
I am Wyvern Tamer or Jaina. I am a Dragon Fable streamer and Discord Greek.
Nice. I am RX Bishop. Most people just call me Doc or Bishop, and I'm a variety story game streamer by day and like multiplayer Halo FPS streamer by nighttime.
I am Sailor Midgard, Nagaz Tech fanboy, variety streamer. Follow me at Twitch, Sailor Midgard. It's the same everywhere.
I think all of our stuff is the same everywhere. So
Branding.
if you see our
Branding.
name, just find us.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
Either Wyvern Tamer or Chaos Weaver of Fate.
Alright, so I brought you guys all here today because this episode is all about the theories and what we have thought about the octahedron since it was first discovered. I know we've had many things like, okay, where's Giga House gonna go, and then the pictures of the dragons and everything else. So, yeah. I don't have the picture on me at the moment. I'm going to look it up while you guys are talking about things, and I'm going to try to get it back up here. But this one that I got off to the left here shows the house breakdowns with physical, magical, essential with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm sure you guys know that picture very well. I have one where we had a few houses like would go at this spot. I'm going to try to look for that one real quick. But what were your guys' initial thoughts as to where the houses would go before we knew where the ninth house was? I just like, well, Giga House is going to definitely have to go at top. Or what were the initial thoughts of houses that you thought would be on the octahedron?
Well, I thought it was very strange that, like, you had a plan and you were going to figure this out. And we'd worked out the preliminaries. So each face was a house, and each point is an elemental power. Is that what we're calling them? Kind of like an elemental power, a force of
A power
nature.
of sorts.
Feels like the wrong word,
Yeah.
but a force of the universe, we'll call it a universal force. So for Dead House, we've got vitality, essence, and magic. So it was a case of, we were all sitting in a Discord call one time, and Varric decided to go through this, and Sailor jumped onto it with claws and teeth about, okay, if we have these and we can work out their opposites, we can extrapolate the rest of it. I'm like, okay. I like this. And then thus the debate began of what is the opposite of life? What is the opposite of magic? And it's not the like, oh, life and death. No, what is the opposite of vitality? What is the opposite of the essence? Not just its counterpart, the opposite. Because that's how this system would work. And it was absolutely fascinating. I can't even remember how many permutations of theories we went through.
Oh, we went through
Several.
plenty.
Several.
I did find the one that I had, and the setup that I had at the time. This is after the dragons and the demons were spoiled with the pictures. We got Dead House. We put Dragon House as number 3, Giga House as number 4. I put automatons because I still honestly think yellow is going to be science or technology in a sorts, which is really
So
ironic.
let's just stop there with that for a second. What does that look like? Is
What-
it a science house? Is it a tech house? Like what in your head is it? Is it like
Honestly,
clockwork things like from the Wizard of Oz, or is it like science where you've got like Warframe? You know the way you've got is it the Grenier?
I don't think it's
Grenier.
Yeah,
Corpus.
Corpus. That's it. The Corpus that are very like tech. Like that's the, like their
Yeah.
religion. Like what is it in your mind? Like science or that area?
The Omnissiah.
maybe
40K references.
this might be sound weird, but just like if there had to be a elder god for it, the inspiration to build things.
Now, there's where we need to stop a second.
Yeah.
6 gods, 9 houses. How
Yeah.
many elemental universal forces are there?
6.
So there's only 6 universal forces. So there would be a god to represent each one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know there was 9 houses with 6 gods.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no, just going through that.
Yeah.
Do you think some share a god?
Oh,
Then? Or is the god like dead or something?
I
Like what? How is there more houses than gods? How does that work? Like was it a house and a house divided? Like
I think that a house could have multiple gods, or a house
that's another option. Actually.
share
I didn't
a
even
god
think
with
about that.
another, or a house might say we don't worship the god but still use resource, as it were. And I just had an idea of what, like, I disagree with the opposite of magic being science, but that's a rant and a half I've given already quite a few times.
yes.
But I think that as God, as manifestations of an idea or something, it could work that the science, as it were, is a god of progress or something like that. It's the manifestation of progress, of discovery, while the god of magic is of mysticism, of crypticism, and of hidden truth. And so they could oppose each other, especially since religious also search for hidden truth.
Now, here's the interesting question onto that. We can extrapolate the other gods by what we know of Deadhouse. So, what do we know of the god of the dead? And if Deadhouse like worship this god, whatever this god is, how does that play into what our view of Deadhouse is on the Octahedron? Because if you can figure that out, you can probably start to work out how the others work.
That's another reason of the stream.
I struggle. Like, I struggle with like envisioning. So, like, we have this 8-sided octahedron, right?
Yes.
And we know that Deadhouse is one triangle
Yes.
on here. We know it's physical, we know it's essence, we know it's magic.
Yes.
So, going with what Varric is saying about technology, science being the opposite of magic, I can kind of get behind that, but it's hard to see, like, what does that actually look like? But looking on the octahedron, then we can see there's the triangle that shares what Varric is saying: technology, science, physical, and essence. So that would give us a whole nother side. So it is sharing two, like what you were saying, Faceless, like two gods, but then
Two elemental forces. We'll call it there. 2 elemental forces. What way the gods we're still working out.
I can understand. So I just recently played Eternal Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And that has opened my mind to some of this stuff in a crazy way.
Just
Have you
watching
played
Eternal Darkness.
Have you played Blood Omen?
Yeah.
And I played Blood Omen.
You probably
But
have.
I haven't
good
played
idea
Blood Omen.
of how this is going forward.
Yeah,
then, 'cause
I haven't
the
played
rest
Blood
of
Omen
us
in a
know.
minute. So, but I mean, like, Eternal Darkness really opens your eyes. So I understand, like, what vitality looks like. You're getting hit, you're spilling blood, you know, like, we understand that. Magic, we understand. Essence, we don't understand in regards to eternal darkness. You can, it's your sanity. But when you are saying like technology, Varric, or science, what does that look like?
Have you familiar with
That's
the
what I
SCP
have a
stuff?
hard time with.
Say that one more time, Phases.
Are you familiar with the SCP stuff, Bishop? The SCP Foundation.
I know about it.
There's
Look
a
up my
few
re-
stories in it because there's a group in that called the Church of the Broken God.
Okay.
They are basically what Varric is referring to if you imagine a tech house or a science house. That they have a god that's like literally a clockwork mechanism thing that's broken and in pieces, and they're trying to gather the pieces of this god and put it back together. And when they do, this god will be able to whatever take over the universe, save them, who knows. But the pieces of this god do actually pose incredible strong magical, well, not magical is the wrong term because it's a science god, but they do have extraordinary properties
Well, here's another
with
thing.
machinery and technology.
Think about this. There's a whole bunch of ancient technologies in the world of Malarum, Oscarox, etc. Maybe, just maybe, the elder god for technology science is the one behind that. And discovering those things and learning about those things gives it power.
Maybe. I mean, like,
This is very valid.
it is connected to, out of 9 houses, if we're correct in saying, let's say, technology, it's connected to 5 of those 9 houses in some way.
Yeah. So
It's just hard. It's just hard to see what it looks like as a
It has inspired
thing.
5 out of the 9 houses to learn about and discover things that it has influence over. That's pretty
But
powerful, if
if
you ask me.
you have the followers of one god that created something, and then those followers are all destroyed, but this tool or utility still exists, other followers from other houses could still use it. You get me?
Yeah, and
Like, well, that's what these things can be.
yeah, and who says that, for example, that house can't use technology or can't like use the powers of the god of technology while still being far more aligned with the red? Like
Yeah.
they don't have to be exclusive to only the houses aligned to it, but it's most strongly connected to the houses aligned to it.
And that's kind of what I was kind of getting at. Like, it's hard to see the technology as a fundamental like piece of that other house, where you can, like I said, you can see vitality, you can see essence, and you can see magic for Dead House. It's hard to see technology as a like I don't know, like
It's the hardest one to wrap your head around. I
so
understand
crazy.
that.
But yeah.
The Dwemer.
Oh yeah.
No, that's
exactly where I was thinking. Taylor, I was waiting to see, would you say something
The what?
on that?
The
The
Dwemer
Dwemer.
from
Dwemer, yes.
Elder Scrolls.
That's
Yeah,
another.
Dwarf-
That's another
the
form.
dwarves.
Actually, they're elves.
They are elves in the Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
but it's meant to be an analog for, like, dwarves
Yeah.
in other fantasy stuff.
Yeah.
Like. 'Cause even the dwarves
They-
in Elder Scrolls are actually dwarfs, if you get me.
no,
They're all
they are,
variations of elf.
yeah.
All right, so let's
Also-
take a step back from the yellow bit. Let's we just kind of jumped headfirst into all that. So what were your initial thoughts on what was the opposite? Because we do know that the Octahedron is built on opposites. It says it's in the Necroliberatus. Back. What were your initial thoughts on what the opposite 3 colors represented? Just overall, just for me, my first initial thoughts for the opposite of physical was mental. My first initial thought for the opposite of magic was science, and my first initial thought of essence, I know we discussed this one quite a bit, Mike. I went with elemental, or like Eastern, Western philosophy, spirit, and then manifestations of elementals. So, what were yours,
That
Mike?
was that was a really difficult one because when we were doing that, we were debating it, and it wasn't that even like I wasn't disagreeing with Varric. We were trying to like spitball every possibility and then try whittle it down to what seemed most likely. I was with you on like the opposite to the physical with the whole like the mind thing. I'm like, okay, this is really interesting. I like this idea. I'm still like when we were going through all of our theories, I was still not 100% sure on what the rest were. Like, I'm listening to everyone else, and everyone made a good point, but I didn't have 100%. I'm like, that's a really good point, but, and I could find flaws in everything. That's the problem. And it's really difficult to pin it down.
I'm still on the opposite of physical being like ethereal or something like that.
Yeah,
Ethereal in what sense, though?
I think my initial like take on it would be I tied this all to the Pillars of Nosgoth, right?
I tried doing that one too. I still have those
And
pictures somewhere.
and I know Varric, you and I both had this conversation because if you look at the pillars, there's 9 pillars. There's coincidentally, I don't think so, 9 houses. Right? And so you have the 9th house, which is I think we can say is the biggest house. We haven't said that in this right now, Varric, but it's in the middle, right? And you have physical at the top of the octahedron, and we have what you're saying like mental or something like that on the bottom. They are not connected. But like looking at the pillars, you have the pillars on the right side of the pillar of balance, which are more physical things. I may have this backwards. And the pillars on the left side are more non physical, like because you have like dimension and time and stuff like that all on one side. So I don't know if it's mental, but it is something that is not obviously is not. It's more maybe dimensional or something like that. Spaces, space ish,
Spatial.
spatial, as opposed to something that's physical in the here and now. Was my first initial take.
All right. Well, what about
Yeah.
the other colors as well?
I have no idea.
No idea.
All
right.
Yeah,
Wyvern?
I liked how you got there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like
I
what you said about how I got there. Everybody's going on an adventure, and you're here looking at the tires, saying, "Hey, look at this."
yeah. No. Okay. So I for physical, I agree with Taylor. Maybe not the exact interpretation, but ethereal or something. Rather in the manifestation of immaterial. Like it's very specifically those things you can't touch. That was my idea for like the opposite of physical. The opposite of essential, I was like, yeah, essential is inside it's your soul, however twisted that manifestation in white is. But it's like something that powers you from inside. So, from for the opposite of essential, I was like after I thought about it for a while, which was a while after I got told about it. I thought like that is the outside forces that influence you inward, while essential is the inside forces that cause you to influence others like outwards. So I'm with Varric on that one more, as far as I understand Varric's explanation. And then, yeah, the opposite of magic being
The big debate.
I do not agree that magic and science are opposite. I think that magic is just another way of understanding the world, and science is just another way. It might be due to how they are posed, as it were, that the understanding might be different, but I think they are linked together. However, that also means that I had no clue at all what the opposite magic would be.
Sailor?
So where did y'all come to the revelations? No, let Sailor go and then I have this question.
Well, on that one, I think I can't remember if it was Varric that I had the discussion with about magic being more of a chaotic form of things, rapid change,
I
unpredictable
remember that
change,
conversation.
whereas technology or science, whatever we want to call the opposite, is more of a ordered, static change rather than spontaneous. It's going from 1 to 1 equals 2 rather than magic, which is
1 plus 1
tree
equals
plus
5.
rock equals mountain.
True, that's true.
Because in magic, tree plus rock equaling mountain can make sense. In whatever the opposite could be, it may be that they have to have every single step of the way between those two. And by the way, the tree rock thing makes sense with Norse stuff. So that's where that analogy comes from. The roots of
Yeah.
a mountain and things.
Yeah. A rock is just a very small mountain that's still growing.
Yes, it needs to grow a little bit. And trees grow, so a tree that you add a rock to,
Yeah.
it's a mountain. Makes sense.
So what did
Yeah.
you all start thinking when Varric mentioned all of these forces, debating this concept, and then when you went back and read the book?
What did you think? I mean, I know you can't say nearly as much as you used to be able to say, but that's just a head nod.
I'm waiting for a we will see.
I think it's no. I think the correct answer is that's a really interesting question.
The academic.
That's one of the questions
I
that
find
was.
it fascinating how Varric took all the wrong roads and still got to the right destination. That's all I'm saying.
Everywhere
Yeah,
leads somewhere.
I remember that you told at least me Dennis's initial reaction of like,
Oh, that was hilarious. You probably
How-
get that to scream if you ask him, by the way.
yeah, that one, like we had a bunch of memes thrown about. Oh, yeah, so I hit the bullseye with the tomahawk. I just hit it with the back end. Things like that.
He's probably thinking about girls. What does the octahedron have to do with anything?
I love that meme.
That sort of thing.
I think,
Yes.
who was that? Was that Skull?
I think
That
so.
seems like a Skull.
Probably Skull made a ton of
Probably
memes
Skull.
really fast.
So,
Yeah.
so y'all read the book, and as Varric pointed out before, the book kind of lists out the houses
Yeah,
pretty,
there's
almost in complete detail. Almost.
in one section, I can almost verbatim do it. The first one, before they did an update to the Necroliberatus, it said the false houses of men, giants, and angels. I do believe are the three that it lists previously. And then
And now,
in the last, what is the last word section of the Necroliberatus, no, I think it says no Titan nor.
You have it right here. It's no men nor titans, dreams nor devils, no nameless horrors lurking in the black, nor those of heaven's fire can break this contract.
And that's 7, I do believe. 7 different houses.
Yeah.
and then we have an 8th.
And we have Dead House as
Well,
an 8th
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
But the problem with
And
that
then
is,
there's one left.
and the problem with all of that is man is not a house.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a house. It's not a major house.
It's not me. And I think that's like the one thing that's the most annoying, right? Like we have like, oh, we know there's 9 houses, and we're like, well, humans in a house makes sense. It's like, no. That's a minor house, so it doesn't count.
No, hold up. The
Like,
minor
what?
houses. What if they're actually on the octahedron?
Everything will be on the
Oh,
octahedron.
Like,
interesting.
No.
in what way?
The lines.
If the lines are minor houses? Oh my god.
Only 2. connectors, not 3, for the minor houses.
Oh my god. So what would that be? Like humans would
So, like,
be
humans would
physical and
probably
essence?
stay, honestly, with the way they work, they'd probably stay in physical and maybe magical.
Well,
Yes,
wouldn't
they'd have to
essence, though?
essential.
Like, wouldn't it be like their
Remember,
soul?
they had to start doing alchemy and stuff to start messing with the essential realm,
Yeah.
which they
This is
got
one.
because somebody was messing around with the dead,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
what kind of, like you said, just because your house isn't aligned with a thing doesn't mean you can't touch it.
Yeah.
I just
Like-
told you, but okay.
That would make 12 minor houses.
Well, that's also
That
going
would
into
make-
the minor houses. With,
What
you know,
Faceless is doing means there's
Yeah.
8 minor houses.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 4 that are around the middle.
But Faceless did this.
No,
Yeah.
not the bottom. Not the bottom. It's
But the sides. So that would be
Not the
8.
side.
Oh, sorry, Anyway, so
Also, I have
took you a
some-
while, but just to point out to answer Bishop's question when he mentioned about minor houses, it's like, oh, that doesn't count because it's a minor house. When you know the answers, that makes sense, but when you don't, it seems like a weird mess that just doesn't.
Right.
factor in at
And I
all.
mean, it's just one of those things where, like, I remember us being like, oh, this has to be a house. And we're like, yeah, we felt a step closer. And then it was like, no, it's just a minor house. So it's not really one of the 9.
Also, the reason I had that look on my face a while ago is because I thought of something. Here's one for you, Varric. What if we got the 9th house wrong?
what do you mean got the 9th house wrong?
Cause we're thinking 2-dimensional.
No. Dennis has already stated that the middle 4, not the top or the bottom, is the
No,
9th
no,
house.
wait. Let Sailor go. Go on. Go on, keep going.
Yeah, I
Look
may
in
have a
Discord.
comment depending on what Sailor's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
What was
that
it,
is
Sailor? Keep
also-
going.
Oh, with the
there are 2 more flat faces, as it were. That you
No,
can
it's
get
that
by
all the
the-
points of an octahedron do actually point towards the center. Now, while they may not necessarily be connected, it is an absolute center. So not just 4, it's the precise center, not the square in the middle. The precise center is what I was looking at. I dropped a picture in Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess,
Yeah.
I
You're
guess it would
saying-
just depend on what you mean.
You're saying the 9th house isn't the 4 squares. The square in the center. It's just the point in the middle.
The exact center. Like
what
with
he's saying
everything.
is it's the center and the whole of the mass because it touches all points being the center.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what he's
draws-
saying. If you look at it, it's kind of like a star shape in the middle of the octahedron.
That's true.
Yeah.
But don't we have confirmation that the 9th house is for the 4 points?
Yes.
No, Dennis confirmed that the 9th house is the center.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he confirmed that it was the 4
Says
points.
It's made
Yeah.
up of 4 points.
Faceless,
Yeah,
don't do that.
I'm
going to go back to that stream now, and
Yep.
I'm going to
Omitting
get verbatim.
information is something Mr. Dyke is very good at because he'll let you go on with the whole
Yeah.
theory and then let you just completely ignore half of it and then not tell you the rest.
Like,
Well, on
I-
my screen, he's over there.
I felt pretty confident, like he pretty much laid it out, but I'm fine with. The only thing I was going to say, the one thing that I was always about, I know we've talked about like angels and demons, and I've always attributed those to the 9th house and it being both sides. That's where I thought you were going to get, Sailor. Is like one side is one thing and the other side is the other thing, and it's just a house that's split. It's one house, but it's 2 sides of the same coin.
Well, the one thing that I thought
Yeah.
about. Oh, go ahead, Wyvern.
Okay. Except, like, I really like that theory. I also agree that it could be valid. wasn't there a thing about demons coming from outside?
There is.
Yeah.
That's why I said angels and demons was kind of like the thing that makes it easy to understand. It could be two entirely different things.
Yeah.
Yo, Eric, what was that list of names that Oh no, Bishop, you read it out. You have it in front of you, yeah?
Yeah. It's
The
right
last
here.
words.
Yeah, say that again.
No men, nor titans, dreams, nor devils, no nameless horrors lurking in the black, nor those of heaven's fire can break this contract.
So what are they?
Well, you have heaven, hell.
Yeah.
The
sounds
one
like
I'm really
angels-
curious about is Dream House, or whatever we call it now.
That's gonna be very interesting.
So it's like, so what we have humans, we have titans, giants, we have whatever dreams are, devils, nameless horrors, and those of heaven's fire. So angels maybe.
And if all
Like-
those
Most people
are-
think angels are good. Angels don't have to be good.
Mm-mm.
They can be they can be as hellspawn as hellspawn.
Good
I-
is subjective. Good to who? Or
Yeah.
for who?
Right, exactly.
Let's bring
Exactly.
in what it was the movie called. Damn. What's that movie called? Angels to some, demons to others. Pain,
Oh,
pleasure.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. There we go.
Not
Sailor.
just that, but like the one I've been playing here recently, it's not necessarily like angels or heaven and hell. It's Shin Megami, the one I've been playing. It's order or law and then chaos and change. Or, heaven or the angels are law and order, which is not good all the time. It's not. And then the demons are actually represent chaos or change. So like a demon is potential, whereas the angels are stasis and safety.
Yeah.
There's a few like that, even in the Darksiders series. Like the angels
Yeah.
are just as big a-holes
Yeah.
as the demons.
And
You
that,
know?
In Dragon Fable, it's even more different because there's constant struggle between creation and destruction, but also saving and creation. And the Celestials and Infernals are literally just the same, but with a color swap. And the Celestials create things, the Infernals destroy things. But they work on such a massive scale that for humans it doesn't matter which they are, because they are always something to be opposed.
and it makes me think, like, because I just did Eternal Darkness recently, you have the three main ancients. There are 4 confirmed, there's 5 theorized, but the 3 main ones, none of them are good. They're all have potential for bad, but they're about balance, right? Like when one tries to take over power, there's another one to balance that power.
Well, they're Lovecraftian horrors, and anything in that universe when you've got a deity in that theme, where it's a Lovecraftian god,
Yeah.
it is neither good nor evil. It is
Right.
a selfish, petulant child that exists purely for its own nourishment and basically
Right, it's just-
to appease its own self. You and
It's just based on
everything
the
about it
perspective.
irrelevant. Yeah,
Yeah.
everything in the universe, all life is irrelevant to it. It
What
is
thought do you
existing
give
for-
to an ant?
Exactly. Only scale that up on a cosmic level, And we were told that's where we sit in Dead House, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We're an afterthought, if that.
You play Cthulhu Wars, there's a bit of a hint on how this all works out.
Fun game. Game's so fun. We need to play again.
Yeah, we
should
really
stream
do.
that sometime.
Last time we did, only me and Bishop showed up with Dan, even though a few others had promised to go up. Mike.
I was always
No.
working that shift. It sucked. I never got to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, Varric, you had another question that was pushing
Um,
further along with Sailor having his idea for Minor House. Which is going to be really interesting. and
Now
curious
I've
to see how
totally
the
up and
community
lost it.
debates that.
Um, but I was going to ask you, Sailor, a quick question. In Two Human, what, how are the characters in that? Like, I know I've only watched a very little bit of Two Human, but like the angel that resurrects you, is it an angel or is it like a technological angel, a sciencey fiction type thing?
We never, unfortunately, never got that far. It is a amalgamation. What Two Human was about was a society that existed way before we did. It's us. It's just millions of years, quote unquote, in the past. So that they are both, I think, because the angels, the Valkyries, would teleport in and take your soul or corpse to Valhalla. So it was kind of a mesh between technology and magic on that one. Because we never actually got to see Valhalla or where they take you or what they were doing with you.
Okay.
I do know the ones that died that didn't get picked up by the Valkyries are the things you fight at the end of the game. So
Okay, because we do know that Dennis likes to use inspiration from his previous games, i.e., the big old red demons from his one of his first games into Blood Omen, and we hope to see them in Deadhouse too. Oh, that'd be great.
as long as I get my Jotun fight, I've waited years.
um, but I figured I from what I saw of Two Human, they do have a lot of technology in that game, like advanced science with weapons and guns and stuff like that as well. So I figured that would be another reason why I would say science and possibly even angels being on the side where science is at, kind of following the Two Human aspect of that, just as inspiration to carry on with that. Um,
Yeah.
After the colors were revealed to be true, that was fun. That hit me one night, like, hey, wonder if they're just the opposites of RGB at work. And I'm like, I have to go home and do this. And I'm amazed Dennis actually said, yep, you got it. Did that change anything for you guys as far as how the houses were lined up? Or what the colors actually might represent? I know that I delved deep on that and I started looking at antonyms and so on and so forth, and I did see that blue magic is the opposite of yellow science in a color aspect as well, and that really got me turning my head, but that also switched my thought process from physical and mental, which I mean it could still be that, but I got physical, and now at the bottom I've got immaterial or something along that lines. It might not be the exact word that's there, but that's what the antonym of physical is. And essence is psychic, which would fit the mind house. Um, and then science is, of course, the opposite of blue, being technology. Did that hit any of you guys in switching any ideas up, or was that just something kind of just like, oh, that's interesting, and just moved on from there?
Honestly, it just gave me marbles to put in the scheme of things, but that was about it.
I lost some interest in color theory because of that, because yellow equals science, and I dislike science and magical.
I know, Varric, you and I talked about, after that, we talked about colors for a little bit between like RGB and CMYK, and we kind of dived down some weird avenues, but I don't know that as a whole, like just because a color's magenta, I don't know that that spoke out to me in a way of, oh, it must be this. You know, like red screams blood and blue screams magic and green screams alien blood. Um, and I mean, in video games today, red, green, blue are the most common colors when it comes to anything.
And that is why I think they were the initial three. Red, green,
And
blue.
and
Oh, it's just the three colors that we're just going to use because they're the common ones.
I mean, and that's just how it has always been. Like when you get into yellow and magenta and cyan, like that gets weird. I don't know of any games that use those colors in a prominent way, like red, green, blue. So it doesn't change my thought on anything. It just
The
kind of
only thing I can
makes
say
me
on
wonder.
that is the other Eternal was yellow. I know one of the other Eternals was yellow, and wasn't blah 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 blah.
Oh, you're saying in Eternal Darkness,
Yeah.
Mantarok was purple.
Yeah,
So
but
would
the
be
other
magenta.
no, the fifth one that they have talked about, it has been mentioned, was
The
the yellow,
fifth one is
the yellow floor. Yeah,
It is yellow. The yellow floor, the yellow possession, the enemies being consumed by yellow energy, the unknown runes being covered in yellow. Yellow is a thing.
so the only thing we didn't get was the what, cyan, isn't that the color or whatever?
That would be the only thing, yeah. That wouldn't be necessarily in Eternal Darkness. That would be 5. Eternal Darkness represents 5 of what we could say of the 6, potentially.
Yeah, and to be honest, with magenta, all I can ever associate that color with is not existing.
The
Because
void.
no, because magenta specifically is a color that does not actually exist. It is just something our brain makes up because we cannot perceive a color that is a combination of red and blue like that. That's why we can see magenta even though it doesn't exist.
Colors are weird. Getting into colors
Yes.
is pretty crazy.
But
Yes.
do you guys
Synesthesia is fun.
think that the color theory has any merit overall?
I don't
I
know.
do. I
I-
do, just because of Eternals.
So,
I
like-
think it can add extra depth, but I don't think it is what govern like them. It's more like, oh, this is a fun coincidence that this also happens to line up, or if we make this a cute shape this way or something like that, this happens to line up. But I think it is a coincidence.
Yeah,
Really
like
ties into the
Mention
meaning.
something about one of the elders and the necro. You could probably tie that to a color.
Say
based
that one
on
more time.
House. Doesn't it mention a god somewhere?
Yep.
Yeah. And doesn't
Sure.
it reference
Color?
a color
Yep.
element and stuff? And you know, once you have that, you could probably begin to extrapolate the rest.
And the fact that the god of death doesn't like us, but anyway.
How do you know?
Celeste will Rising Crimson Dawn. Is that what you? Is Lilith? Is that the one you are referring to?
Oh,
Maybe.
I ain't saying shit. But Sailor, why do you think the god of the dead doesn't love you?
Because we won, we defy death. We're not dead, we're undead. We died, and then death didn't get to keep his prize.
Maybe your undeath is at the whim of the god of the
Also,
dead.
where was it? So I was
Maybe
staring at it,
that's
reading
the-
again.
Maybe that's the only reason your undeath exists, because it is its whim.
Banshees probably wouldn't be with a dead house if the god of death didn't like dead house.
Mhm.
Given that they are some form of peril, if I recall
They're
correctly.
the herald of the dead.
Yeah,
No,
Like
that's
quite
wrong book.
literally the herald of dead. Of the dead.
yeah. So I doubt that Banshees would align with something that death and
Well,
the
they're
dead
not alive,
don't like.
they're kind of like
Just
created
there.
by and minions of, like direct servants
Yeah.
of it.
And Sailor looks
So,
intently
yeah,
at the
we have-
monitor.
We have a god and a color and a theme. And Farrick's asking about color theory. You could probably put 2 and 2 together and add another 2 and another 2.
Like I'm
That's
sure
17.
I'm sure the colors mean something. It's just hard to like in Eternal Darkness, that one clearly uses colors, right?
Mhm.
Like you have the ancients that are the red, green, blue, and purple or magenta if you want to use it like that. Those are the four that are confirmed, and then the yellow, which is it's there.
And
People
what about
are
in
aware
Blood
of that.
Omen? What about in Blood Omen? Was there colors tied to the pillars?
Yes,
Um,
there
sure,
was.
yeah, there were,
So you're
but
telling
then you have
me
nine of
Green
them.
was the color of forms, and forms is directly related to essence in Blood Omen, or not Blood Omen, in
So
Dead
what you're
House.
telling me is Dennis has a history of colors being
Colors.
of valuable and vital importance.
Right. But it also
Yeah.
seems what I was getting at with the Eternal Darkness is that the colors that kind of fall apart are, at least when we apply it to the octahedron, like red is physical, blue is magic, green was sanity, or we can obviously apply that to essence. But purple or magenta and the yellow ones seem to be something entirely different. They were more like chaotic kind of a control and like a balance is how they've been seemingly portrayed in
Oh, you think
theories
they're
and
wrong
stuff.
because you're assuming Varric's completely correct.
Um,
I never said I was completely
no,
correct. I'm just
I'm saying
going off the theories.
I think color theory is appropriate. I just don't know what they mean,
Mhm.
right? Like based on like what does yellow mean? You're
So
saying
what if
technology,
Varric's right,
cool,
he's just saying the wrong words?
but I don't know.
Say that one more time, Faces.
So what if Varric's right, but he's saying the wrong words? Like he's
Oh, it's
calling
not
yellow.
science.
So he's calling like yellow science, but that's not the word for it. But it would still mean the same thing. Wouldn't
I think
that
I'm with
Yeah.
Like,
I think
that
I'm with
theory
Jaina. I think I'm with Jaina that I don't necessarily agree that it's science or
Yeah.
technology, but I think it's in the right vein. I just don't,
Yeah.
and that was my problem at the beginning. I don't know how you see that as a fundamental attribute of something.
it's really hard to be like, why would there be a god of science? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
How do they control?
like
I understand that.
I
That
think
is
you're
just the
right.
best
I think
answer
you're
that I could
right.
find.
I think you're right,
Who
but I
plays
think Jaina's
Warhammer?
right.
I've
Like I
watched
think they're both
Warhammer.
right.
You need to go look up the Omnissiah for science stuff. You need to look up the Omnissiah. And the Order of the Skitari. They are literally science religion. It's a science religion with a god of machine.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now,
that's just,
what if we take that? We've gone down this path, but we will let me pull us back a little and go down the other path. You're trying to get the elemental forces correctly. These should align to houses which align to gods. Who have we got and who have we don't? Because with the idea that maybe a house doesn't have a god, with the idea of maybe there's multiple houses, like one god could have multiple houses, or maybe a house
well,
worships multiple gods, as Jaina said earlier. So,
Yeah.
like,
I think based on the octahedron, it has to be a house is comprised of at least 3 gods in some way.
again, that's where you need to take a look. You know, Dead House is not. You're completely aware of the functions of Dead House. So take that and put that to the right.
What if a god isn't aligned with a point, but with a thing?
But then you'd have 8 faces.
Yeah.
6 gods, 9 houses, right?
6
Yeah.
elder gods. There are 6 elder gods. There could be multiple gods per house, which there are, because there is the god of Dead House and his 3 faces. There are 3 faces to the triangle.
Yeah,
So,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
and
no-
if man is red and blue, and then something else, we'll say Titans, is red and green, and then I don't know what blue and green would be. Whatever. Maybe
I
those
get
are
the
the
weird
3
thing where-
different faces of death.
I think that goes a step beyond my brain.
Going
At
into
this
the
moment,
discussion about gods.
I don't know that I could do that.
I'm not correcting him because the last time I let him go down the wrong path, he still got to the right destination. So I want to see where he goes with this.
Going
That
to
was me just
discussion
kind of
about
throwing
gods
it out
earlier,
there to discuss.
because we're talking about the gods now. The thing that caught me was actually from Seven Sons, and it's Kiva. Locking onto the board, the leopard craned his neck forward. Blah, 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 blah. Black stars cast across a lake of blood. A leper king rises. Men chant his names as twin suns seek into dust. I see the crimson sign. I see death. Hearing this, the leopard's imitation of a smile returned. A rattling sigh of satisfaction sounded in his throat. Let's fast forward. Her face knit and strain, and her boundaries thrash in a vortex that wasn't there. The white night rises, now stained deepest black. A mighty house is built on hatred's back. Death undone will ride against the crimson sign, and by its darkness shall the stars align. The leper thought, in the crimson sign, I see crimson sign, I see death, and the leper got happy. Death. And then death undone will ride against the crimson sign.
So who's the crimson sign and what's the leper?
See, that's the stuff where I was like, because, how excited it gets when I see the crimson sign, I see death, and it says, hearing this, the leper's imitation of a smile returned. That's what made me think that the leper actually is the one representing death. I don't know who the other is.
Then who's the other person he's talking to?
What was it? It's just the prince, the fetid prince, which
Who is?
may not be. Actually, does it cover who? It's been a while since I've read it. I was reading it earlier before we started all this.
Oh, come on, you're so close. Come on, keep going. Just keep going.
Sure.
You've mentioned it before. It's been spoken of before. Come on.
Undeath? I don't know.
Ah,
Now you done caught me and I can't think.
that's not close.
This is what you do to us, Faceless.
This is
Yeah.
what we do to
You make
ourselves.
You allow us to be so confident in ourselves, and then you strip that confidence away. We're like,
Close.
Yeah.
So close. He's on such a winner.
This fetid prince,
Who's
oh my
the
god.
prince?
My brain
Hold on,
blanked.
I'll reread
See?
the whole thing.
Yes.
My brain blanked. Go for it, Sailor. I give you permission, though this is Varys.
No,
Video.
this is my stream or my video, but a sailor.
What?
Are you good?
I'm reading now.
Your brain
I
hurt?
thought you were gonna read it out loud.
Yeah, I was waiting and reading it out loud.
I'm gonna read all of the Seven Sons in Twilight out loud.
Is
Yeah,
the fetid
that's
prince
all.
Zorn?
Huh?
I don't
No.
know. I'm just throwing out stuff out there.
The fetid prince is another minor god.
It's just another minor god.
Yes.
See, that's where things get crazy.
Probably not the right word, but yeah, you're on
Herald,
the right track.
whatever.
You're on the
It's
right-
not.
you're on
It's
the
not
right
an
track.
elder god. It could
Yes.
be a
Hold on.
normal god. One of the three faces of death. It could very well be.
So,
But
This could literally just be Death arguing with himself.
it could be because he has three faces. And maybe we haven't seen the third face. Or maybe Kiva's the third face, but that doesn't make sense if there's multiple Kivas running around. But it could be.
Because whoever it is, the fetid prince and the leper are both scared of whatever it is that Kiva speaks for. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And who does Kiva speak for?
Death.
Death.
Which is
Death.
yeah, who is
and
death?
what is death?
The end.
See
Be
this?
more literal than esoteric.
Nothing.
It's the cessation of life, the cessation of their life as well.
What is Kiva?
A banshee.
A voice.
A herald of the dead.
Yeah. So they are afraid of.
The dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
True death.
Anyway,
I feel like we just settled that.
It's very simple. Something sent Kiva. Kiva goes to where places in story. Place in story, as Sailor said, is two people, two beings that are scared of their crap of whatever sent her.
but here's the thing for you, Sailor, to rack your mind over. The leper, after the argument with the fetid prince, says, I dream. Oh shoot, you got it.
I am the dream. Yeah, I know. Time is but a dream,
Time
and
is
I
but a-
dream of time. The dreamer sees more than you know, old friend. Farewell indeed.
And the dreamer,
There you
And
go.
Armin opened his eyes.
the dreamer would be another elder god, or another god at least. Maybe not elder.
Or-
he's getting closer.
So-
Getting closer.
You know, that means that he also works for not just death, but somebody else. So
Yeah,
he's
and where was that mentioned? What was the list again, Bishop?
Nor men, nor titans, dreams, nor devils, no nameless horrors lurking in the black, nor those of heaven's fire can break this contract. People, giants, dreams, devils, horrors, and heaven's fire angels. I assume are angels. In
So, Divina House,
contract.
Damon House.
House of
Dream
Man.
House.
That may be more like for. Well, no, you can't just say the living.
So what? We have a angel house, a horror house,
Horror.
a devil house, a dream house, a giant house, and a house of men in some capacity. All minor or some major. But that just goes back to that original problem of major houses versus minor houses.
You've completely derailed yourselves. What was the point I was trying to make there?
I don't know. They're all afraid of death.
Sailor, can you repeat yourself again, please, in regards to what you were talking about, the two people talking?
Which part? The thing about them doing the chess match,
At the very end, what did the guy say?
or the dreamer? That part.
Mm-hmm.
That is the part we're leaving out. Time is but a dream, and I a dream of time. The dreamer sees more than you know, old friend. Farewell. We're leaving out time.
I just
What?
watched Tenet. That
Wait.
was a fun movie.
So wait, are these... Because this list is 6, isn't it?
Can I have a request?
3.
No.
Yeah.
In a few years from now,
We'll
can
come-
we come back together
We can.
and re-record this and watch this very
That would be
video?
Hilarious.
That would be
where I
hilarious.
specifically mock each and every one of you individually.
Yes, you
Well,
can.
no.
I would love to
Well,
do that.
you
Please.
should give us the
Don't
ability to
snort a
mock
line
our
of intrigue
show.
and leave us alone.
Mike's standing here waving big, massive flags, and y'all are like, "Whoa, I don't see anything."
Yeah.
It's because it's so close that we're blind to it.
It's
Literally.
literally we've been staring like I've. It's also for me the fun part is that I've read 19,000 versions of Seven Sons and Twilight now.
Hey, that I remember the original version. Yeah.
Exactly. I think I still have it.
Although-
You know
somewhere.
it's gonna be. You know it's gonna be really awesome. Here's a little bean for you. When you get to do Chronicles, this will all make a lot of sense, and it'll be really awesome. It'll give validity to what you're reading.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Chronicles are gonna be epic.
By the way, I am so looking forward to the new Chronicle.
Yes.
I am
So,
so looking forward to that.
I thought about making that meme. Have y'all seen the SpongeBob thing when they announced that they were like, oh, we're only doing streams the last day of the month? I was gonna make that SpongeBob meme where it's like, well, what do I do until you stream again? What do you normally do when we're not streaming? Wait for you to stream again.
Yes.
now here's
Yeah.
the good one. So, Sailor. Now, we got Bishop to read out a list of names. You just read out what that dude says. What does that tell you?
Well, that
You
tells me
figured out
that
a lot of stuff in video games, so come on. Do it. Come on, you can do it.
Sailor, can you read that part again?
Its time is but a dream, and I a dream of time. The dreamer sees more than you know, old friend. Farewell indeed. So there is a dreaming god.
Literally says it. Literally says it.
Is this list of gods then rather than houses?
Didn't say
There's
that.
You didn't say that. Gosh, I know you didn't say that, but because there are only 6 here, right?
The leper a dreamer? Is the leper aligned with dreams?
What
Or
was
am
the
I going-
description again, Sailor? Not what he says at the very end, but what was the description?
Wait, which part? Which description? This or the other part about the lepers?
We're talking about death and the signs and something.
Okay.
Be vague and not pretend I know exactly what they're talking about.
Okay. Black stars cast across a lake of blood. A leper king rises. Men chant his name as twin suns sink into dusk. I see the crimson sign. I see death. So crimson sign and death are a thing. But the white night rises, now stained deepest black. A mighty house is built on hatred's back. Death undone will fight against
hold
it.
on. You're rushing too fast.
Oh,
Not the last sentence. The last two before that. What were they? The third
I see
and
the
second
crimson.
last sentences. You just
oh,
read.
I see the crimson sign. I see death.
Up next.
Okay, so the white night rises, now stained deepest black.
Mm-hmm.
A mighty house is built on hatred's back. Well, I know who
What's
those
that?
two are. That's
What
Dead
is
House.
that? Okay, and who?
And Nagaztak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have that. Now think about the sentences before it, and then what comes after.
I
I see the
Is
crimson
this-
sign. I see death.
Is this a prophecy? A dream of a prophecy, as it were?
The Gaztak exists, so this has already happened.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all happening
Now,
while
this
Nagaztak
is
is
something-
turning.
We are dead.
He's still
House,
alive,
so it has
actually.
been founded. So,
Yeah.
I could
Well,
I
at
could
this
I
point,
could roll
this is
back
a-
way back in the day when this gave me the epiphany, especially after Dennis threw out his original poem, and then I created my poem because I remember talking about this specific thing with Dennis. But it was in my early days, and it's been 2+ years now. And I probably didn't have it 100%, but the leper is, I believe at the time I said the leper was the god of man. The crimson side was man.
Well,
way
you got
back in the day.
crimson going on with the red
Yes,
top one.
and that makes complete and utter sense.
Okay, you're back on the right. You're back on the right train track.
So the
Okay.
crimson sign is
Keep that train chugging. Let's
represents
go.
the house of man. The crimson sign represents the house of man.
No.
No.
You had it so right. You just derailed it down.
Man.
Okay, what did he
whatever.
say a minute ago? No, what did you just say a minute ago?
The best
Who
part about
was
this,
the
Eric, is it's all recorded, so you can just go back and you can watch
Yeah.
everything and listen to everything Faceless says.
And put it at 0.25 speed.
Stay there. Who was the leper again?
Okay, so the leper is the one playing against the fetid prince.
Yes.
The leper is the one who gets happy about seeing the crimson sign and seeing death.
Okay, we've got that. Now
It's
add
cool.
into what Varric was saying.
It
Come on. You already established it a minute
It's
ago. What
the-
house does the leper belong to?
Man,
Man.
dreamers,
Oh,
death.
Death.
Leper is death.
dreamers, or
No,
Can
because
we go back and rewatch this after? By
No,
the way,
because-
hi guys. This
Hi.
is the point where you stop.
This is
and
where our
pause
brains
the
fried
video
again.
and rewind, okay? If you get the mic with his hands up like this constantly, you've gone too far. Rewind the last 10 minutes and replay it again.
So this is why our brains get fried, is because we think so hard on everything. I mean,
Yes.
it's probably super easy, but
It's exactly what I said to Varric before.
Well, because here's
Everyone
the
else is
thing.
already in the car ready to go to Disneyland. He's out there going, Jesus, look at the tires.
those treads
You know?
look nice.
Those treads are really good.
yeah. I just imagined like this entire conversation is us on a rail track, Mike is desperately trying to keep us on track, while we're all skipping every single line and sometimes crossing the one
Have
we're
you ever
supposed
been
to
a
make.
DM, Mike? Welcome to the D&D party. How are you
Yes.
doing? Now let's go talk to that barkeep you didn't create for the next 5 hours.
I want to just
Faceless
go to
is
the
like-
bar. Can I go there? Everybody else wants to go to the dungeon. I want to go to the bar.
Faceless is like, okay, what's the map say? And we're all like, well, the map says to turn left. Faceless is like, yep, so turn left. Which way we turn?
Everyone went right.
Why are we going right from here?
They'd be like, oh,
Because
so
that's
we
what
went straight
collectibles
or
are.
right to the inter-? She's like, but the map said turn left, right? Right, it did say turn right.
I
No,
heard
it says
I heard
left.
right. I heard right.
Yeah,
The
right.
map said turn left, but the collectibles are never on the path.
Let's
That's
respell
true.
this out for you. So we're now tying the leper to the crimson sign. Okay?
Yes.
That's what you said a moment ago. Sailor, what were the last sentences in that whole thing?
Yeah, a mighty house is built on hatred's back. Death undone will ride against the crimson sign.
What? Yep. Okay. Okay, so think about that.
So the
Who was
leper
that? Wait, hold on.
is
Who was
not
that?
death.
Who was
Maybe
that?
we're
The
lumping
gas
death in
stack
too
will
hard.
ride against the crimson sign.
Yeah, okay. So let's go with this. So what were the sentences? Read them out, and I will stop you, Sailor, and point out as we're going through.
Eric, take
Okay.
notes.
I'm gonna start at the beginning then.
Right.
Black stars cast across a lake of blood. A leper king rises. Men chant his name as twin suns sink into dusk.
Yeah.
I see the crimson sign. I see death.
Okay.
And then hearing this, the leper's imitation of a smile returns, and a rattling sigh of satisfaction sounds in his throat.
Mhm.
The banshee's eye left the board and stared ahead once more. What do you see of death? The prince asked. Kiva said nothing, but returned her gaze to the board. Her hair and robes began to flow faster, rising as if caught in a great current. I see, she began, her face knit with strain and her boundaries thrashed in a vortex that wasn't there. The white night rises, now stained deepest black. A mighty house is built on hatred's back.
Stop.
Okay.
Okay. Who is that?
That is Nagaztak. That is Deadhouse.
Okay, so we have that. Okay, so I'm gonna spell this out very basically. Right, we have that. Continue.
Okay. Death undone will ride against the crimson sign, and
What
by
does
its
that mean?
darkness. Okay.
What does that mean?
The gas
What is
stack,
death undone?
death undone is in the gas stack.
Yeah. Deadhouse.
Yes.
In that house.
So we're riding against the crimson sign, which
Yes.
is death, or is said to be death earlier. Now,
No.
No,
No.
House of Man.
it just said
Man.
Crimson Sun, and it just said it saw
I
the
see the
Crimson Sun
crimson
and
sun. I
and
see the
death.
crimson sign. I see death.
That's two things.
I
Yeah,
didn't say the crimson sign is death though.
Ah,
yeah.
I see the Crimson Sun.
had
I see death.
I had a long discussion on prophecies yesterday. This just means that there is a crimson sign and there is death. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean they are connected at
All
all
right.
because
Now
prophecy.
let us continue. So Death Undone will ride against the crimson sign. Okay?
Yeah.
That house will ride.
Now we tied the crimson sign to the leper. Now, Sailor, what does the leper say at the end?
I am a dream of time, hold on.
I dream of time and
Time is but a dream, and I dream of time. The dreamer sees
Yeah.
more than you know. Friend, farewell.
Yes. Now what does that mean?
The
Think-
leper is the dreamer.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're on the right track. So the leper is the crimson sign and is the dreamer.
Yeah.
And it will be ridden against by Deadhouse.
Yes. And time is a creation of the dreamer. Right?
Well, that's
I
that.
Or
think
am I
that's
doing
adding.
it?
I think that might be
You're
adding. but-
starting to get metaphysical at that point. But the other part is, you see, the dreams and the dead can't really go together because, like, the dead don't dream, do they?
Well, see, I think that's one
Oh.
reason why I get messed up, and you may want to not put this part because for me, in my stuff, death is called the long dream, the long sleep. That's why when you start mentioning sleep and dreams, I'm like, oh, that's death.
But that's dependent on who's interpreting what.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we have this from the book. So this is official. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
It's there for you to read.
Unless it's
So
a
we've
fake
got
page.
printers inside.
It is a
No,
fake
the
page.
fake page. No, there is. You can tell fake pages from the real pages, but you still haven't figured that one out yet.
Gosh darn it, Faceless, stop
damn
doing
it.
this.
All right. Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up. I've got kids
So,
coming down. I'm sorry.
So, in summary, where did we go with Varek's questions? How did we answer Varek?
Nowhere.
We went nowhere. We went around in circles on a
remember the
square.
We
We went
the big
to-
octahedron.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. We inspected very nice time.
But it did.
Like,
Hopefully it did build that brain power and inspiration back up to think about more things too.
Eric's gonna release this video, and it's only going to be Faceless talking.
Yeah, just gonna edit everything else out. What did he say? Haha, I got him. No. But no, I do thank you guys all for showing up. Again, apologies for the lateness of it. I would like to do something like this again in the future with what I don't know yet, but definitely it was fun.
It was a
At
blast.
least one is already planned in a couple of years.
Yes, when we can look back at it and laugh at ourselves at how stupid we are at not understanding the simplicity that is the octahedron, which is complex. And
Yeah.
again, you can follow Faceless Mike on Twitch at Faceless Mike, Wyvern Tamer at Wyvern Tamer, RX Bishop at RX_Bishop_MD, and then Sailor Midgard at Sailor Midgard. And I will drop all those links in the description below, so they are easily clicked on.
You come over there where I overthink things constantly.
Yes. And laugh at as many deaths. Oh. But with that, I'm going to call it here and have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
See ya.
Yeah. See ya.